another weekend of painfully boring basketball being played in half-empty arenas throughout the WNBA dump. That clip was footage of the game Saturday night between the Phoenix Masculines and the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. Now, according to the WNBA, the Michelob Ultra Arena, it was filled to 80% capacity with over 10,000 people supposedly in attendance. But based on that footage, it is abundantly clear that the WNBA must be including empty seats in their attendance numbers, because there is absolutely no way there were 10,000 people in that arena Saturday night. Last night, the Anonymous Faces, they were at home against the Indiana Clarks. It was a grueling and rare back-to-back game for the Anonymous Faces. I'm sure at some point, they will complain about it. They will claim this is unfair. This isn't right. Why are we being forced to work 2 days in a row? This is unsafe working conditions. I am watching the game last night, and I'll be honest with you, the basketball was halfway decent. I was actually impressed with some of the players. Sophie Cunningham, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Mitchell, obviously Caitlin Clark. These ladies, they put on a show. Now, it was a boring show. My wife fell asleep at some point in the second quarter, but the quality of play, it was surprisingly decent. As I'm watching the game last night, I couldn't help but notice all the empty seats. Once again, the WNBA is claiming over 10,000 people were in attendance, but there were hundreds of empty seats in the lower bowl. Now, in defense of the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces, they are not the only team in the WNBA struggling to sell tickets. Uncle KC, this is just not true. Did you see the attendance in Toronto this weekend? Wowzer! Over 20,000 people paid to see the Toronto Pimples. Oh, yeah? Well, how come last night the Pimples Arena was filled to half capacity? Well, that's because they were playing the New York Lesbians last night. When they were playing Paige Bueckers, it was standing room only. This is further proof that Paige Bueckers is a huge star. You know, I'm actually glad that you mentioned Paige Bueckers, the same Paige Bueckers who filled the American Airlines Center last night to about half capacity. You don't have to take my word for it. As you can see here, there seem to be entire sections of empty seats. But I'm glad you mentioned Paige Bueckers, because on the surface, she should be the face of the WNBA. Paige Bueckers is a phenomenal player. She seems to be a respectful young woman, doesn't get into trouble. Unlike Angel Reese, who can't back it up on the court, Paige Bueckers has game. This young woman can play ball. She should be competing with Caitlin Clark to be the face of the WNBA. Question is, why isn't she? Why does no one seem to care about Paige Bueckers? I'm about to tell you why, but first, let's get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Fluffernoggin. I am not a big snacker. I don't eat a lot of junk food, but there are times during the week when I'm too busy to stop and grab lunch, and I need something quick and easy, but also filling enough to get me to dinner. One thing I have noticed that fills me up, beef jerky. Problem is, a lot of beef jerky tastes like you're biting into a flat tire. Good news is, I no longer have that problem because I started buying gourmet beef jerky from Fluffernoggin. Now, you're probably thinking, what the hell is a Fluffernoggin? Fluffernoggin is gourmet beef jerky that is 100% made right here in America. You don't have to worry about consuming foreign cows because all these cows are homegrown. Each recipe from Fluffernoggin is handcrafted with the perfect amount of seasoning. First beef jerky I've ever tasted that literally melts in your mouth. Fluffernoggin comes in a variety of flavors, ranging from mango habanero, Korean barbecue. They even have a flavoring of craft beer. Or, if you're like me, you'll just stick with the original style flavoring. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL30, BTL30. Receive 30% off your first purchase with Fluffernoggin. Paige Bueckers and the Dallas Wankers right now are on a 5-game winning streak. How many of you guys knew about that? I didn't know about it until I was doing my research for this video. I'm sure most of you guys didn't know either because you're not wasting your valuable time watching Women's Sports Sunday on ESPN. The same ESPN that is they are pleading with you to embrace Paige Bueckers. Take a look at this clip of Shanae Guumake and Monica McDougal. Listen to how they talk about Paige Bueckers. See if you notice the difference between how they talk about Paige Bueckers and how they talk about Caitlin Clark. Watch it for yourself.
Let's break it down.
Let's do this.
There's so many star players for the Dallas Wings, but the highlight reel is one by the name of Paige Bueckers, because she has been balling out of control this year. Every game, she does something so special. Want you to keep an eye on the handle and the vision, but most importantly, when we change angles, she nutmegs herself between the legs to get this finish right here, and the nice fillet with the off arm on the left side. That was nasty, Paige.
It is abundantly clear at this point that the mainstream media is anointing Paige Bueckers as the face of the WNBA. Since Caitlin Clark has entered the league, this is the media's third attempt to replace her as the face of make-believe basketball. They tried with Angel Reese. Failure. They tried with AJ Wilson. Embarrassing failure. And now they are trying with Paige Bueckers. Unsurprisingly, the end result is huge, embarrassing failure. And it's not just the media that is embracing Paige Bueckers. She is also loved by her colleagues in the WNBA. How many times have you seen Paige Bueckers be brutally attacked by jealous WNBA players? How many times has she been physically assaulted on the court? How many times has her fan base, which mainly consists of friends and family, along with the president of her fan club, AZ Fudd, how many times have you heard WNBA players accuse her fan base of mythical racism? 2/3 of the equation wants Paige Bueckers to be the face of the WNBA. But the most important third, the only third that matters, which is the mainstream casual audience, they don't give a shit about Paige Bueckers. Why? One of the reasons Paige Bueckers is struggling to sell out arenas, and you gotta remember, the vast majority of her home games are being played at the College Park Center, a tiny, microscopic gym that holds 7,000 people. According to one of her teammates over the weekend, we struggle to sell tickets because the arena is located in Arlington. That's a long, long way for our fans to travel, especially since most of our fans can't afford motorized scooters and they're traveling on foot. Well, the Dallas Cowboys play in Arlington. They don't struggle to sell tickets. The distance is not the problem. One of the reasons Paige Bueckers is struggling to resonate with a mainstream casual audience, she's got the charisma of a juicy fart. But another reason that Paige Bueckers is struggling to resonate, she continues to pander to deacons at Woke United Methodist. She continues to live in her white guilt. She continues to acknowledge this mythical white privilege that only WNBA players believe exists. Watch for yourself.
For equal opportunity, no discrimination based on
what you look like, who you like, and anything of that nature. Black women, I understand like how amazing they are and how they should get the same equal opportunity as a white woman, as a white man, to be an important piece of this league. And it was built on a lot of black women, this league was. So it's definitely right for them to get the same equal opportunity as everybody else.
You're on a 5-game winning streak right now. You are at the pinnacle of your brief WNBA career. And you want to talk about equity? You want to talk about discrimination? For starters, black women did not build the WNBA. Black men built the WNBA, and a white man named David Stern, he took money that those black men generated to build the WNBA. His successor, Adam Silver, continued this charity by taking hundreds of millions of dollars away from NBA players and using that money to keep this toxic turd from sinking. This is the problem with the WNBA. This league and its players, they have no idea how to market their product to a mainstream audience. How often do you hear Caitlin Clark talking about her boyfriend? I don't even know the dude's name, but I know the name of Paige Bueckers' girlfriend, or as the Dallas Wankers prefer to call her, our #1 draft pick. What are Caitlin Clark's thoughts or beliefs on the LGBT? How does she feel about the fight for human rights for humans who identify as plus plus, or other symbols that belong in a math equation? Who did Caitlin Clark vote for in the last election? Don't know and don't care. You see, basketball is a small part of the equation. Hell, in this league, where most people find the basketball unwatchable, the actual basketball is a microscopic portion of the marketing equation. If being a great player was the only requirement to being a mainstream star, AJ Wilson would be the face of the league. Paige Bueckers would be trending every game on social media. Both players would be selling out arenas both at home and on the road. Paige Bueckers is a great player, one of the best guards in the league, but she is a lousy promoter. You can get away with a lack of charisma. Hell, Kobe Bryant wasn't really all that charismatic. Kobe wasn't making jokes at press conferences, but Kobe was an assassin on the court. Drew Brees, he doesn't have a lot of charisma. You can get away with lacking charisma. What you can't get away with, especially in a league like the WNBA, where the on-court product is not the draw, you cannot get away with giving people a reason not to watch your product. You can't preach about equity. You can't atone for your mythical white privilege and expect a mainstream audience to support it. If activism was the key to success, the WNBA would have been the most popular league in the country 20 years ago. Truth is, activism is the disease that has infected this league. And when you combine that with the horrendous product on the court, you have the perfect recipe for huge, embarrassing failure. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.